let's talk a little bit about financial goals and money. And I've learned that this is such a hard, sticky topic for so many people. It's overwhelming, it's scary. What changed for me in my career was the recognition that I needed to stop just saying to myself, this is a mindset. I would say, I need to just make enough to pay my bills. Or for an artist might say, I need to just make enough to buy materials and be able to have time to paint or make art. I wasn't being very clear on what I wanted. And what I realized, especially after my first year in business, was I got exactly what I wanted. Guess what I got? I got enough just to pay my bills. I didn't have much more. And it wasn't until I set the goal to pay off my debt and I started getting really specific that things started happening in a very quick way for me. So when I coach artists one-on-one, my question usually is, how much money do you want to make this year? And I just did a 6-month sales mastermind class. And the first thing we talked about with the group was how much money they wanted to make from their art sales. And a lot of people were nervous to say out loud or put on paper for themselves even how much they wanted to make because they didn't know how it was going to happen. Some of them thought it was either too big of a goal or too small of a goal. They weren't sure how to set it. And, you know, I know that feeling of when you write something out, it kind of puts you personally on notice that you're going to accomplish it. And you are called to be in integrity with setting goals. So I will ask some of you out there to think about how much money do you want to make this year? And it could be, let's say you're teaching or doing graphic design and making art, or you're doing multiple jobs, maybe a multiple sources of income. So maybe you get really clear and specific in all your areas of income. And the second part to that I love doing is reverse engineering a goal. And reverse engineering, I don't know if you've heard of that. If you've been in the room with me, you've heard of it. But that is this idea of starting with the end in mind. I know a lot of artists want to make 100,000 or more, hit the 6-figure mark. So reverse engineering might start out with, okay, my goal, I'm pulling out my calculator, my goal is to make $100,000. And that means I need to sell $8,333 worth of art a month. So whatever your goal is, break it out over 12 months to see what that looks like. Then you can break it further out. So that's $8,300 a month. What does that look like a week? And that's $2,083 a week. That if I made that, if I sold that, I would hit my goal. What does that look like a day? So divide that by 7. That's $297 a day. When you start breaking out goals like this and chunking them down to smaller components and reverse engineering it, things can often seem more accessible and more attainable. What I've noticed is that if you just start with 100,000, and that's, you know, maybe you've never made more than 25 or 50,000 a year, maybe, I don't know, everyone's different. That can be really intimidating. But once you start breaking it out into bite-sized chunks, then you realize, wow, maybe I could do this. Maybe if I'm selling like I am, maybe if I have a gallery selling for me, maybe if my marketing is getting better and people are inquiring, maybe if I'm working with more art consultants through my marketing and have other business partners that are a source of revenue for me, maybe this is possible. But you have to start somewhere. And I like setting goals that are just a little bit uncomfortable, not too much, but just a little bit. If it feels easy or if you've done it, it's not going to challenge you or scare you. If you've never done it and it's a little bit outside your comfort zone, or you're like, how is that going to happen? That's probably a good place to be. But then the next step is to break it out into smaller chunks and reverse engineer it. And I wrote this out here. I put 101,000 because I like saying 100,000 or more. Hopefully you can see that. So it's basically starting with the end in mind. Reverse engineering is something that is used quite a bit in the business realm. It's used in engineering. I have found that when you have a lot of goals or one big goal, let's say my goal at one point before I did was to buy my building. I had to start reverse engineering it. What do I think it's going to sell for? What do I need to have in place? What kind of savings do I need to have to be ready to do this, to make a down deposit? What kind of banking relationship do I need to get a mortgage? What documents am I going to need to pull together quickly to send to a bank or someone? So I started reverse engineering the goal to break it out, to get organized and get ready for it. So, maybe it's not money for someone sitting out there tonight, but what can you reverse engineer? I just talked to an artist today that I coach that has no more paintings in her studio because she has sold every piece of art. And she's frustrated. And she said people keep teasing her, oh, well, that's a great place to be. Yeah, it is a great place to be. But she's frustrated because she wants income now, but she doesn't have more art. So we reverse engineered today how she was going to create $50,000 worth of artwork to be able to start selling between now and January 1st, when she launches this on her website and starts marketing it. So she broke out the size paintings that she was going to make, what they retail for generally, and created a reverse engineering plan. Her goal for the next 6 months was 50,000. So she needed at least $50,000 worth of art to accomplish the goal. So we had to reverse engineer her inventory. Some of you might have a financial goal, but you might not have the inventory for it. And that's really key to make sure you have the inventory. I had a show one year, and this is when this blew my mind. We had a financial goal for the show to sell 50,000 worth of art. This was an emerging artist. This was many, many years ago. And that was the goal. We set it and we hung the show and we did the price list. We did all of our marketing. And I had a moment where I went through the show and I realized, well, guess what, Bridgette? You don't have $50,000 worth of art hanging on your walls. You don't have it. So I realized I set the goal without actually correlating the value of artwork to the goal. So some of you might be in a similar situation where you don't have enough inventory, or maybe your inventory is not priced high enough. So there are all these elements that come into play when you start reverse engineering, because you actually get critical. You're thinking about it, and then you're diving into what you have and what you need. So here's some really good questions to ask yourself around sales and money. How many galleries or business partners do I have? And when I say business partners, art consultants are a business partner, and galleries, that's what I'm thinking about, clients. How many do I have? How much do they average in sales for me? And then how many works do I have to sell? And what is the price point? Have you ever added up the total value of art that you have in your studio right now available to sell? It's a really interesting thing to do. The idea is to sketch out your plan around your financial and sales goals to really start attracting in what you want. I have found that once artists are doing this and literally taking action around this, amazing things will happen for them. They will start selling more art. Money is a big topic in Art MBA. We have 14 videos around it. I have money action items and rules. Money is a live thing, and it carries a lot of energy to it. I've learned a lot of rules of money over the years. Sorry. So I have money action items and rules. We cover money principles. I talk about money tracking. I give a money checklist of items to do, and I get into money allocation. And I've learned that this is incredibly helpful for people that have never really dove into finance. And I skip a lot of the fluff. I just give you what you need to create a successful career.